Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life keeps pushing back no matter what you do, like you're trying but something just isn't clicking the way it should? Most people think life is a struggle, something you fight through, something you survive. But what if that's the mistake? What if life isn't a battle at all? What if it's a game, and the real problem is nobody ever showed you the rules? Think about it, every game has rules, and if you ignore them you don't win, you just get frustrated, and that's exactly how most people live, reacting, complaining, blaming everything outside of them without realizing they're playing without understanding what actually controls the outcome. Here's where it gets real. Life responds to what you put out, not just your actions but your thoughts, your words, your expectations, and you've seen it before. The person who constantly talks about problems somehow always has more problems, while someone else moves differently, thinks differently, and things seem to work out for them. That's not luck, that's alignment. Whether they know it or not, they understand part of the game. Because one rule most people never hear clearly is this: what you repeat you reinforce. If you keep telling yourself things aren't working, your mind locks onto that. If you expect things to go wrong, you start moving like they will, and over time that becomes your reality, not because life is against you, but because you're feeding it the wrong signals. Now, this isn't about pretending everything is perfect, it's about awareness. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control what you focus on, what you say, and what you keep feeding your mind every day, and that matters more than most people think, because your mind doesn't filter truth from repetition, it just takes what you give it and builds from there. You ever catch yourself replaying something negative over and over, a mistake, a fear, a worst-case scenario? That's not harmless, that's practice. You're training your mind to expect that outcome, and then you wonder why you hesitate, why you second-guess, why. When you start shifting how you think consistently, not overnight but daily, you begin to see things differently. Opportunities you ignored before start showing up, decisions become clearer, you stop reacting and start choosing, and that's when things begin to change, not magically but logically. Another rule people miss: you don't get what you want, you get what you're prepared for. A lot of people say they want more money, more freedom, better opportunities, but they're not thinking, acting, or moving like someone ready for it. So when the opportunity shows up, they hesitate, they doubt it, they miss it, and then they say it didn't work out, but the truth is they weren't ready to receive it. And here's the part most people don't want to hear: life doesn't respond to what you say once, it responds to what you consistently believe. That's why people get frustrated. They try to think differently for a day, nothing changes, and they fall right back into old patterns. But this isn't a one-time shift, this is how you play the game long-term. And no, this doesn't mean everything becomes easy. You'll still face pressure, you'll still deal with setbacks, but now you're not reacting blindly. You understand what's happening, you adjust faster, you recover quicker, you move with intention instead of emotion, and that's the difference. Same life, different player. So if you feel stuck right now, don't just ask why is this happening to me, ask something better: what am I feeding this situation, what am I repeating every day, what am I expecting without realizing it? Because once you see that, you stop playing by accident and you start playing with awareness, and that's when everything shifts, not overnight, but for real, because life isn't random, it responds, and once you understand that, you're not just living anymore, you're actually playing the game the way it was meant to be played. If this made you think, then this channel is for you. This isn't motivation you forget in 5 minutes. This is about the decisions that actually shape your life. The ones no one talks about. The ones that cost you something. Welcome to Unchartered Decision, where we break down real choices, real pressure, and what it actually takes to move forward when nothing feels clear. If you're trying to think sharper, move smarter, and stop second-guessing your life, subscribe. Because the next decision you make might change everything.